The alien tail grows by the next section fitting over the previous section. There are numerous pegs and sockets to hold the tail sections together. Look for the contact areas and apply little glue to these. I tend to use the thick gel type of superglue. When fitting the parts together, to help them to align, the tail may need to be bent slightly. Study the pegs carefully to see which way the parts need to be bent. Also, it's worth noting the contact areas along the edges and apply little glue here as well. Then hold the parts together until the glue has set. When fitting the skin over the foot, it may be easiest to firstly join the two halves together. Once the underside is securely joined together, slide the foot into the skin and adjust it as required so it wraps neatly around the foot. Apply sufficient glue to the contact areas along the seam and hold firmly together until the glue has set. Masking tape could be used to hold the join together whilst waiting for the glue to dry. Care needs to be taken when assembling the ball joint for the abdomen so that it has the correct stiffness. The socket liners, with two pegs on their back, are fitted into their surrounds. Then the ball joint itself is placed into one of these. Check that it's fitted the correct way round. Then take the second surround with the previously fitted liner and cover the ball joint. 3 screws are fitted through the joint and secured in place with matching nuts. The nuts fit into hexagonal recesses at the back. At first, tighten these just enough to hold the parts in place. And once all 3 screws are fitted, feel the stiffness of the joint and adjust the tightness of the screws as necessary. The joint needs to be loose enough to move, but stiff enough to hold the upper body of the alien in place. Next, the ball joint assembly is fitted into the abdomen section. There are holes in the ball joint assembly which fit over raised sockets in the abdomen. Then, 4 2.3 by 6 mm screws are used to hold the assembly securely in place. After fitting the ball joint to the abdomen, it is important to take time to adjust the screws to ensure the correct stiffness of the ball joint. It needs to be stiff enough to bear the weight of the upper half of the alien body, yet loose enough to move. Before joining the legs, you may find it helpful to glue a nut into the rear of the joint on the right leg. This will help hold the nut in place when the legs are being joined together. When fitting the 2 legs together, make sure they're properly supported. A rubber washer is placed on the right leg, then the bracket that fixes the legs to the abdomen, and this is followed by a second rubber washer. The joint on the left leg with the spindle then passes through the centre of all of these. The assembly is then held together using a 3 by 28 mm screw which passes through the centre. This is where the previously fitted nut helps, as the screw can be fitted directly into this without the need to hold the nut in place. Tightly secure the parts together. The leg assembly is then fitted to the abdomen section with the ball joint. The bracket holding the legs together fits over 4 raised screw sockets in the abdomen and is secured in place with 4 screws, 1 in each corner. It may be easiest to join the abdomen skin together a little at a time, allowing for the glue to set fully before moving on to the next section. After fitting the upper abdomen cover, and when there is just one seam remaining to join the abdomen skin together, wrap the skin around the abdomen. Take time to adjust the skin into the correct position. The back dorsals fit onto a plate, and to ensure they're fitted in the correct place, the plate has large shaped pegs. So as to be sure where the glue should be applied, study the dorsals and pegs carefully and note where the contact areas are. Then apply glue to these areas and hold firmly in place until the glue has set.